few months ago, on one of my early morning walks, I decided to stop by Sutro Heights Park. There's a beautiful old tree on the western edge with a piece that's been cut off to form a stump that looks like a perfect place to sit. There was no one else around, and I sat down on the stump for a morning meditation. I was startled to feel a strong energy coming from the tree, and it felt like the tree was talking to me. It felt like a sober mushroom trip. The tree shared some of its memories and told me that, yes, big changes are coming to the city. Scary changes for a lot of people, but that's the way it's always been here, so there's nothing to be afraid of. It was an intense experience, and I promised to come back again for another chat. Well, last week was my birthday, and I decided to spend a night at the Seal Rock Inn across the street so that I could spend my birthday right next to the ocean and visit the magic tree again. I discovered that Saturday afternoons are way different than weekday sunrises at the park. There were kids and dogs running around and lots of people sitting on the benches. Nobody was sitting on the stump though, so I went over and took my place. I sat down on the stump and was surprised to hear a message despite all the action and noise around me. Come back later and we'll talk. Okay. How later? When it's dark. How dark? Really dark. And that was it. I didn't get another word out of it. I sat there patiently waiting for about 15 minutes, but nothing else came. Come back later and we'll talk. When it's dark. Really dark. As the evening turned dark, I thought, am I supposed to go out there now? I decided against it. Even though it seemed late to me, my bedtime is around 9 p.m., I knew that on a Saturday night there would still be people out there. It would be spooky and people-y. I decided to wait until the morning, but before the sunrise. I woke up around 5:30 in the morning, got dressed, grabbed my tiny headlamp, and headed out. There are no lights in Sutro Heights Park. Like, no lights at all. I stood at the entrance, shifting back and forth on my feet and staring into the darkness. What the hell was I thinking? It's freaking dark as hell in there. Who knows what's in there? Why would I walk in there? Because some magic tree told me to? This is crazy. I'm not the idiot in the horror movie who doesn't have the sense to turn around and go home. I just stood there, thinking about what to do. I felt afraid, even though I knew there was probably nothing dangerous in there. Fuck it, I thought. I'm going in. I don't want to let that tree think I'm a scaredy cat. I have terrible night vision, and my tiny headlamp barely helped. I stayed focused on the wide path ahead of me and just kept moving. In my mind, I told myself, and anything that cared to listen, I was invited. I'm here by invitation. Somehow, that made me feel more secure. I finally got to the hill where the tree stood, climbed the stairs, and sat down on the stump. I turned off my headlamp and just sat there, listening to the ocean, wind, and creaking of the branches. Okay, I thought, well, here I am. What are we going to talk about? What's the message? That's the message, the tree replied. If a tree could chuckle, it chuckled. That's the message? What, to just come here in the dark? Yep, to just come here in the dark. That's it. That's it. To know that if I invite you somewhere, then it's safe. And that was it. I just sat there until the twilight appeared, and then I went back down to watch the ocean. If I invite you somewhere, then it's safe. My big takeaway was to listen to my intuition and to not be afraid. Fear is almost always an illusion. We can't always see what's ahead of us, but if we trust in our higher selves and our intuition, then we can walk forward with confidence. There's still plenty of dark places I wouldn't venture into alone, armed only with an iPhone and a tiny headlamp, but after that weekend, I'm less afraid than I was on Saturday. So that's the theme of the day. Don't be afraid of the dark.